Even in the year 2017, the arcades are still packed with people in Japan, and long lines of gamers are formed in front of the newest rhythm games. In Japan, arcades don't just attract nerds, but they attract gamers from all walks of life, including businessmen, couples, kids, and of course schoolgirls. The arcades have a very specific formula for luring in such a diverse crowd. They usually have a ton of UFO catchers at their entrances that tease you with the promise of easily catchable and overly cute teddy bears. Having spent a few coins trying to catch a cute cat for your girlfriend, one is easily seduced by the close-by J-pop tunes to move a step further into the arcade. This is where the rhythm games can be found. In this video, I will present to you the top 6 rhythm games that are currently the most popular in Japanese arcades. This list will be based on my subjective measure of the popularity of the games, as observed during my daily visits at different arcades throughout my recent 3-week vacation in Japan. But before jumping into the list, I would like to thank you all for the overwhelming response I got on my previous video about rhythm games. The almost 100,000 views are a strong testament that our rhythm game community is still going strong. And yes, I totally agree that Oz is an awesome game. And I have myself spent countless hours playing the Ozmania mode on my keyboard and playing the Taiko mode on my drum controller. But despite my love for the game, I still think of the game as a compilation of games that originated elsewhere, such as Elite Beat Agents, Taiko Drum Master, and Beatmania. But now back to the main purpose of this video, the top 6 rhythm games in Japanese arcades. Number 6 is Beatmania. This game has been around since the 1990s, but is still going strong, especially among the more hardcore rhythm gamers. It is not one of the most approachable rhythm games, as its controller most of all resembles a DJ deck belonging to an underground industrial techno club from Germany. The game though has an awesome music selection, especially if you're into heavy electronic beats. The controls consist of 7 buttons and a turntable. I haven't quite found the optimal way to play the game yet. Currently I'm just mediocre at the game, so I always ask my friends to help me out with some of the buttons. But I'm sure that if I keep practicing on my Beatmania Pocket device, I will someday become a rhythm force to be reckoned with. At the 5th place, we have a very girly and pink game catering to fans of the Japanese idol culture. This game is called Love Live Arcade. I must admit that I don't fully understand the game, but to my understanding, one part of the gameplay revolves around managing an idol group, while the other part is a classical rhythm game. The rhythm game part is, in my opinion, just mediocre. But at the arcades, long lines of both girls and guys seem to disagree. At some arcades, they had entire sections dedicated to this game. And these sections were interestingly divided into 2 areas, one for the girls and one for both guys and girls. I love how the Japanese guys just didn't give a crap whether the game was pink or not. In Denmark, guys would be keeping a distance to these pink machines just because of the color. Number 4 is Taiko Drum Master. This game is just so damn approachable with the cute icon Donwada. Taiko Drum Master is usually the rhythm game that you find the closest to the entrance of any arcade. One of the strengths of the game is that everyone knows how to play the drum, and that the game has catchy music for every taste, ranging from classical music to this masterpiece. At the 3rd place we have Sound Baltics. This game feels like a modern version of Beatmania, both in terms of the more fresh sounding electronic beats and the more approachable controls. The 4 large buttons are just more friendly than the 7 small buttons on Beatmania, and the 2 control knobs both feel intuitive and cool to use. Sure, the game gets insane when one plays on the more advanced levels, which also bring the 2 FX buttons into play, but overall the game is much more approachable. Sound Baltics could be found at pretty much all arcades we went to, and it was usually also occupied. I hadn't tried Sound Baltics before going to Japan this year, but I instantly liked the game. The game just has that X factor which makes you want to play the game just one more time. Number 2 is Maimai, which took the number 1 spot in my top 10 rhythm games. And I must admit that it is still my favorite rhythm game. I just love playing songs like BBKK, Bad Apple and Stand Up. On my vacation in Japan, I even got my girlfriend into the game, and she's gone from hating J-pop into humming along to all of the songs. The popularity of Maimai in Japan is quite clear, as most arcades have dedicated areas just for waiting in line to play the game. I think the reason why Maimai is so popular is that it has the approachability and great song selection of Taiko Drum Master, while also attracting the more hardcore rhythm gamers. Before jumping to the most popular rhythm game in Japanese arcades, let's just take a look at some of the rhythm games that were not quite popular enough to make it onto the list. We have Beatstream, which combines Reflect Beat, Project Diva and aspects from Maimai. I found this game to be very enjoyable, but it also seemed very underappreciated among Japanese rhythm gamers. We have Nostalgia, a cool piano game for lovers of classical music. Most arcades had just one of these machines, but it was never overly busy despite being a quite new game. We have Project Diva, which got a lot of love in the comment section of my other video. It looks like a fun game, but I have never tried it myself. The game was located at multiple arcades, but the machine was never really busy. And now to the number 1 most popular rhythm game in Japanese arcades, Chanita. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The game was insanely popular. Every arcade we went to had several Chanita machines. And even in the places where they had 6 or 8 machines right next to each other, one had to wait in line to play the game. And in the evenings, it was almost impossible to play the game, unless one had the patience to wait in line for half an hour or more. The game has a very flexible and intuitive control scheme, which is basically a touch piano. This allows one to perform all the classical moves from other rhythm games, such as tapping, holding and sliding. But the game additionally registers when you raise or lower your hands from the piano. This allows for some pretty intense gameplay, and it looks completely insane when elite players are showing off their skills. We played the game quite a bit, and it was fun. But I must admit that I prefer many of the other games found further down the list. I'm glad to see that rhythm games are still evolving, and it was great to try out all the new rhythm games in Japan. I'm still hoping to see more of the games here in Europe, and even if it has to be on the touchscreen of my iPad. I think games like Chanita and Beatstream could work on touchscreen devices. I have high hopes for the future of rhythm games, and I'm looking forward to seeing what developers will come up with for virtual reality and mixed reality rhythm games. Also, I'm still hoping that at some point we'll see some rhythm games using retrowave soundtracks. Well, this is the end of the video. And thank you for watching. I will catch you later.